But I do want to switch to the other team that was on that game. I want to say if this was the turning point for the Jaguars and what this win can mean. I'm gonna go off first. I'm gonna say that I really think this was a turning point for us. I'm not saying that we're gonna win the AFC South or anything like that, but I do think every single game that has been played this season for the Jaguars has gotten progressively better and better. There hasn't been a single regress in the entire season so far. Every single game got better and better. Trevor Lawrence has looked better and better every single game. And we've been very competitive every game except the very first game against Houston. Every other game we've been very competitive in, and just a couple of bad coaching mistakes and coaching play calling, which I still have issues with because realistically, like we made that Dolphins game way harder than it should have. There was a lot of just super dumb mistakes and play calling that just pisses me off and misassignments that just frustrate me. But we're there, and I know like there's a bye week this week, and I think next week the Jags play the Seahawks, and I actually feel pretty confident about that game that they can win because the Seahawks do not at the moment with Geno Smith. They don't scare me. I think with James Robinson,
haven't been looking good, man.
They haven't. This is really showing how much Russell Wilson carries that team. Russell
and
Wilson and Metcalf.
Going back to the Jags, because these are the games you guys got to capitalize on. To the games, these situations.
Because Lockett has been having a down year so far. I think he's been kind of injury prone and stuff because I have him on fantasy, so I've been noticing it. Metcalf, he's been playing well. That running back, actually, I forgot his name. He played Carson? Pretty well. Not Carson, the guy who played against Pittsburgh. He had dreads. I think it's 41.
I know they had a couple of injuries. Well. I know they're on the running back position, so they had to put in a new guy. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but.
And their defense is not that great. Offensive line is not that good. Like I said, I mean, obviously a good quarterback hides a lot of issues. And I think that's a very winnable game for the Jags. If Geno's in there playing, I think that's...
They're on the road, so that's a tough building to go into Seattle. I mean, is
it to Seattle?
It's at Seattle. So they're going to the West Coast.
Should at least be competitive at the very least. Like I said, there hasn't been a single game when they haven't been competitive, and it's just as long. To me, the most glaring issues, it's so evident, is in the OC and in some moments the defensive coordinator. It's just terrible play calling because obviously talent is an issue on the team, but there's moments where I see it and it's more than just talent. It's not the talent. There's fundamental issues with the way that they're managing the game and play calling and certain things. Like there was a beautiful drive. I don't know if you remember, Gabe. It was right when they strip sacked Lawrence in the red zone and Dolphins got the ball back. But they had a beautiful drive of running James Robinson, running it, and then play action. Throws it 20 yards down the field, then run it, play action, run it, and then a boot, and he runs for then Trevor Lawrence runs for 15 yards. And that's so great. And it's awesome. That's what everybody's been wanting to run James Robinson because this guy is unreal. He's a top 5 running back in the league. He's established himself as one of the best in the league. He's been super consistent. He's 4th in the league in rushing, and he hasn't even touched over 20 carries a game, which blows my mind. How you have such a good running back and with a rookie quarterback, and he's not even getting 20 touches a game. It's like, give this guy 25 to 30 touches a game. Like, this guy's unreal. He's a beast. And you see them run it all the way down the field, but then the very next drive, they don't even run the ball once. They throw it all 3 times to get 3 and out, and that shit drives me insane. And then the dumb 4th and 1 calls by both the Dolphins and the Jags, where they both went for it on 4th and 1. That I wasn't so much upset at the 4th and 1 call, I was more upset at the 3rd down call. But it's dumb mistakes. But I do think every game the play calling is getting better, things are getting better, and I think by the end of the season they could rattle off 6 to 7 wins. And if Trevor Lawrence keeps on playing like he's playing, because he's playing unreal, to me he's the best quarterback. He's been showing to be the best quarterback in the best rookie quarterback in the league right now. And I'm not even being a homer. Like, Mac Jones looks great, but he doesn't to me, he doesn't stand out nearly as much as like Trevor does. Yeah, he has the mistakes, but like the evidence and like the way he's playing is better than Mac Jones. Mac Jones is playing safe most of the time, But I think they could push her. I think he definitely pushed for Rookie of the Year though, for sure.
Yeah, and going forward with the Jags, just looking at the schedule, I mean, they still do have tough teams they got to play.
It's going to be a tough stretch. Yeah, they have like a tough stretch, and then it gets easy again.
They play the Bills, 49ers. They play the Rams at LA.
Yeah, that's a stretch. Right?
Yeah, I think y'all should be happy if you can get split whatever games you're coming out of this bye week. If you can just split it or get close to 500, I think that would be pretty. Yeah. It won't be maybe the season we thought at the beginning of the year, but it'll be decent. I would consider that a decent season.
Like, I don't care too much about wins this season because I mean we're not going to make the playoffs. It's evident, but I want to be competitive. I want to be competitive. If you go in against the Bills and you're competitive and don't get blown out, I'm okay with that. If you go in, I think you could possibly rattle off a win against the 49ers. It'd be an upset. I don't think it happens, but I think out of that entire stretch, maybe the Niners, because who knows? Well, you're losing against the Rams. I think they might lose all those games. You could probably beat the Seahawks. But if you were to take anybody in that entire tough stretch, maybe the Niners, and even then that's kind of pushing it. But then after that, they play like the Falcons, the Jets, the Patriots towards the end of the season. You play Houston again. Like, you can win those games. Those are all winnable games, and I think you could beat the Colts and the Titans. I don't think they're that scary of a team to me.
I think if you guys keep it close and competitive, like you said, against these tougher teams, that would give you, the confidence in going against these weaker teams and actually getting these wins, depending on how you perform against these big name teams.
I think to just let Trevor progress, let him learn, because it's all about next year. Next year, you're getting a shit ton of cap money, and they're going to start. I guarantee you, they're going to blow a shit ton of money in free agency and hit the draft hard, just like the Patriots did this past offseason. I think this is the year to develop him, let him learn, get the traits going, and then next year you go all out. You get all his weapons, you beef up the defense, you draft more weapons and offensive linemen, and then you go for it next year and push for that division title. This year, not too worried about it. Get your wins for morale, but as long as I'm seeing better competitive games and it looks like we can actually like compete, that's all I'm hoping for.
If you win one more game this season, you're already a better team than last season.
Yeah. It's sad to I say, think we can go 1-15. I think we're a better team. We can go 1-15. And I still think we're a better team.
And they play the Jets, so you know they're going to get that
rookie quarterback, and you get 2 wins this season. Guys, Tank, you got the number 1 pick. You got 2 wins this whole season. Is this a win season?
It depends. Like it really. I wouldn't want 2 wins. Like I said, I think 5. I'll be stoked if we get 6. But
for the stars,
I would say 2 is kind of pushing it. It's like, man, it's kind of rough. I do think for Trevor Lawrence to win Rookie of the Year, he has to at least get 5 or 6 wins. I think he has to, because right now I think he's 3rd in the chances for the Vegas odds. It's number 1 is Jamar Chase, which he's been balling. Number 2 is Mac Jones, and number 3 is Trevor Lawrence. But I think if Trevor continues to play like how he's playing and they win some more games, I think to me he's the easy one. It's going to be hit between him and Chase, because Mac Jones is good, he's solid, but I mean he's also a rookie. I'll give him time, but he hasn't like wowed me. He's not like wowing me.